The battle of the billionaires is on. Michael Bloomberg officially jumping into the 2020 race and wasting no time going after President Trump.
I decided to run because I think it's time for a change at the top in the White House. Donald Trump's not been a good president. We need to change that. And also, this country is being pulled apart. We need to pull it together and make sure that we help everybody across the country share in the great American dream.
The former New York City mayor trying to boost his candidacy with a massive ad buy. Bloomberg shelling out over $30 million to influence voters in key primary states. And the company he founded, Bloomberg News, causing some controversy. The news outlet saying it will continue the, quote, tradition of not investigating Bloomberg, his family, and foundation, and will do the same for other Democratic candidates. President Trump, however, is not off limits. They're going to continue to cover him. So we can get into all of this. Juan, can I go to you first? What is a constituency for a Bloomberg run? Where's the demand coming from?
I think you have a lot in the donor class on the Democratic side, the Wall Street types who have tended to back Democrats and previously black Hillary Clinton, for example, who are just tremendously nervous about Elizabeth Warren. And this was like, in the last month, Dana, 3 weeks to a month, they were in apoplexy. They thought, oh, my God, if Elizabeth Warren gets it, what do we do? What do we do? And remember, I think it was Bill Gates who said, well, maybe I would look at Trump, right? So, I mean, that gives you an idea of what's going on there. So now we have a billionaire versus a billionaire. But I think it's a real billionaire versus a guy who got a start from his dad and took advantage of bankruptcy laws and tax loopholes. So I guess he could say the constituency, to answer your question, is people who really say, you know what, it's about the economy, and I want someone who can create jobs, and I want someone who has a proven track record, and I'm a pragmatist, I'm a centrist, Joe Biden's not going to make it, so vote for Michael Bloomberg.
But, Jesse, President Trump did enter the primary in the June of 2015, and then he steamrolled through the whole thing, did it legitimately, didn't have to spend all of his own money, was able to build a constituency, and there was a lot of demand at that point then for his presidency.
Yeah, money can't buy you love. Jeb Bush spent $150 million, and he got 3 delegates. That's $50 million per delegate.
That's a lot.
I don't think Bloomberg has any charisma. I mean, he's got the charisma of a lamp. There's no Bloomberg constituency. It's arrogant to think he could just parachute in with bags of money, skip everything until Super Tuesday and say, hey, I'm here, guys. I think all it does right now is it gives Bernie and Warren a punching bag. It keeps some donor money on the sideline for Mayor Pete and Joe Biden, and it just drops in a lot of negative advertising against Donald Trump in a lot of media markets. But the fact that the media thinks it's fair to say we're only going to investigate Trump and not investigate Democrats, and that's what they think is the ethical move?
That's only
the media can think that that's true.
That's only Bloomberg. I mean, they are taking
but come on, but no one cares about this. Everyone thinks that's fair.
I don't think anyone thinks. I think they're getting a lot of heat
from
other. I think so.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know.
Imagine if the chief of police decides to run for mayor, and the police force says, you know what, we're not going to arrest him. And anybody else, just to be fair.
Yeah,
that's my analogy.
Just to be fair.
You know, I was just thinking the Democratic Party, they need more billionaires. And I love how Bernie is really pissed off about him because he can't go after millionaires because he is one. And it's a testament to America and the free market system that the most famous socialist on earth is pulling in millions of dollars. Capitalism raises all boats, including the ones with holes in them, i.e. a socialist. Here's my theory. You know, I get all my research from strangers on Twitter. I find that they're highly reliable. They're often more right than wrong. So you have everybody expressing outrage. But is this all an act? Bernie, is this all an act? Because if Bloomberg knows he's not going to win, he's entering the race to get around the campaign finance laws so he could run endless anti-Trump ads, which then help all the Democrats. So what he's doing is he's just finding a way to spend, $40 million on the Democratic Party to beat Trump. It's not about him. It's about the party. I read that on Twitter.
I like it.
And you know what? No, but think about it. Is there any hole in that theory?
I like it. And not only that, I think there's a second conspiracy theory afoot.
I'm glad you called it that.
No, but it's not a conspiracy.
I think cable news producers are in on this because they want to write the lower third, billionaire versus billionaire. billionaire. The battle of the billionaires.
Wait a minute, that's the title of our segment.
I know, and everyone else on TV.
Oh, okay.
Emily, I'm going to play for you some sound from the other candidates because they have some thoughts about Bloomberg getting in. Can we play that, please?
Election should not be for sale. Not to billionaires, not to corporate executives.
We do not believe that billionaires have the right to buy elections. That is why multi-billionaires like Mr. Bloomberg are not going to get very far in this election.
Money is, sadly, a very big factor in American politics and who might win. I just don't think people are going to buy it, that you just put a bunch of money, and maybe the argument is, hey, I've got more money than the guy in the White House. I don't think they're going to buy that.
All right, you think, Emily?
Yeah, well, he's not denying that. So one of his closest advisors, Howard Wolfson, said, yeah, he's going to spend whatever it takes. The stakes couldn't be higher. And you can see in part by who he is putting in his stable. So we know that he's prepared for a $100 million digital ads offensive. But look who's behind it. The former CMO of Facebook, Gary Briggs. And he ran marketing at PayPal and Google, and he did stints at Pepsi and Motorola. Like, Bloomberg is so serious. His purchasing the presidency is coming in a million different forms. And final point, the people who have the largest issue with this whole media strategy include his own press pool. So did you guys see the tweet by the former Washington bureau chief for Bloomberg Business, Megan Murphy? She basically said it's staggering that you would stifle essentially this army of reporters that should be reporting on these essential, monumental aspects of what is the most definable election of our time. So they're upset.
Did you also notice that all of the Democratic candidates right there attacked Bloomberg so aggressively? And they have never really said anything that harsh against each other. It's like they hate success and capitalism and wealth more than anything.
Doesn't that prove my point? It's an act. They're pretending to hate him. He's going to come in and spend all that money trashing Trump
Where do you think of that theory?
I like it.
I love you guys. Tell
me what's wrong with it. Tell me what's wrong with it.
It's a conspiracy.
Tell me what's wrong with it.
It's just not true. I mean, the reality,
tell me what's wrong with it.
I'll tell you what's wrong with it. What you just saw was a genuine expression of anti-millionaire, billionaire sentiment from people who say the populist energy on the Democratic Party left, Sanders and Warren, is all about saying the rich should pay more in taxes. Right. Bloomberg should pay more. Steyer should pay more. Steyer's come around and say, yeah, he would pay more. I think you're starting to see this now to reach the point, as I was saying at the very start, that Wall Street is anxious about it.
Well, they should be. I mean, Liz should be toast, right? She did another lie about her son not being in private school. She said all the kids are in public school. So that's the third lie right now. She, I think, is gone. I think Biden is probably a little ticked off at, it's like bumper pool. It feels like Bloomberg, there's another role. Bloomberg could be just playing bumper pool, knocking Biden away so somebody else like Buttigieg can finally have a clear path. But I'm still going to go back. I don't see any logical argument against what I said about the ads, which, again, I credit Twitter.
Or he's just an arrogant guy who thinks he can buy the White House.
But I don't think it's too late to buy it.
If that's
not for sale.
Wait, if that's true, who do you think is orchestrating that? If he's the largest pawn, essentially.
It goes straight to the top.
You mean it goes to Jesse?
Yes, it goes to Jesse's hair. It goes straight to the top.
You don't get higher than that, Jesse.